Let me ask you something, and be honest. Have you ever looked at your bank account on a random Tuesday, not because you bought something expensive, but just because? And you feel that little jolt, that tightness in your chest, and you do the math in your head. You know, if I just skip the takeout and the streaming services, I'll save $500 math. We've all done it. But here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody tells you. That math doesn't work. You could cut the lattes, you could cancel the subscriptions, you could brown bag your lunch every single day for the next year. And in 12 months, you might have a couple $1,000s. And that's great. That's security. But it's not change. It's not the kind of money that changes your stress levels. It's not the kind of money that buys you freedom. It's just treading water. But look, what if I told you that the architecture of your financial life isn't built on how much you cut? It's built on how much you earn. And that the difference between where you are now and where you want to be isn't 5 years of discipline. It's 90 days of velocity. So let's look at the numbers. Because numbers don't lie, they just don't care about your feelings. Let's say you earn $50,000 a year. After taxes, healthcare, the essentials, rent, food, insurance, you're left with maybe $1,000 a month of discretionary income. That's your wiggle room. Now, conventional wisdom, the stuff you read in personal finance articles, says, save that $1,000. Okay, so after 1 year, you have $12,000. But here's the structural flaw. Saving $500 a month takes sacrifice. It takes willpower. It's a psychological tax. You're fighting your own brain every time you see a shiny object. It's exhausting, but look at the alternative. What if you took that same 3-month window and you focused solely on increasing your income by $5,000? Not a year, not a month, just a one-time increase in your earning power over 3 months. Suddenly, the math changes. You don't have to fight your impulses to spend. You don't have to deny yourself the small joys of life. Because the velocity of your income is outpacing the velocity of your spending. It's like trying to empty a bathtub with a teaspoon versus turning on the faucet. Right now, you're all trying to bail water. I'm telling you to turn up the pressure. Here's the psychological kicker. We are addicted to the feeling of control. That's why budgeting feels good. It's a spreadsheet. It's something you can control. But deep down, you know that budgeting is just a fancy way of rationing scarcity. It's like having a strict diet where you only eat rice cakes. It works, technically, but eventually you're going to binge. That's the Netflix and chill of finance. You stick to the budget for 3 weeks, you feel great, and then you see a sale on sneakers and you obliterate your savings goal for the month. And you feel like a failure. So you give up, you say, screw it, I'm just not good with money. But that's not the problem. You're not bad with money, you're just tired of fighting a losing battle. Aside, look, we've all been there. We've all done the I'll start Monday thing. Monday comes, you buy a sandwich, and you're like, well, I'll start next Monday. It's a cycle. So if we know that willpower is a finite resource, why are we relying on it? Why are we building our financial future on something that we know runs out by 3 p.m. on a Wednesday? So how do we fix this? How do we rewire the machine? It starts with a perspective shift. You need to stop thinking of yourself as a consumer who needs to save and start thinking of yourself as a business that needs to generate revenue. If you were a business and you had 3 months to turn a profit, you wouldn't fire the cleaning lady and use cheaper toilet paper to save $500. You would go out and find a new client. You would raise your prices. So here's the actionable part, the blueprint. For the next 90 days, your primary objective is not to track every penny. It is to create a $5,000 value injection. How? Pick a lane. Day 1 to 30. Deconstruction. You look at the skills you have right now. Are you good at spreadsheets? Are you good at writing? Are you good at organizing data? And you find a problem in the market that you can solve. Freelancing isn't dead. The gig economy isn't just for delivering food. There are businesses desperate for one-off solutions. Day 31 to 60. Outreach. You stop scrolling and start reaching out. You send 100 messages. You're not looking for a job. You're looking for a project. You say, I can do this thing for you, and I can do it in a week. Day 61 to 90, execution. You deliver on that project. You get paid. Now let's paint a picture. You're currently saving $100 a month by cooking at home. You're stressed, you're tired, and you're eating pasta for the 3rd time this week. And then you land a consulting gig. You help a local business clean up their customer database. It takes you 3 days of work. They pay you $1,500. In 3 days, you just earned what it would take you to save 15 months to earn. That $1,500, it erases all the anxiety. It covers the unexpected car repair. It pays for the flight to see your family. And you didn't have to skip the pizza. That is the difference between an expense-led approach and an income-led approach. One is restrictive, the other is expansive. It's a trick of the mind. When you focus on earning, you're operating from a position of power. You're creating. When you focus on saving, you're operating from a position of fear. You're hoarding, and hoarders never get rich. They just protect what they have while the world moves on. So the question isn't, can you give up your morning coffee? The question is, are you worth more than you think you are? Because the calculator is right there. You can spend the next 3 years cutting coupons and watching your savings crawl up a percentage point at a time, or you can spend the next 3 months proving to yourself that your value isn't fixed. Most people will choose the first. It's easier. It's safer. It requires less courage. But the money isn't in the budget. The money is in the solution. The money is in the story you tell yourself about what you're capable of. So look in the mirror. You have 90 days. You can change your finances, or you can keep bailing water. The choice, is actually pretty simple.